is Rachel, and today I'm bringing you some ideas for the ReadHarder Task 2 challenge. So, as I mentioned before, we're going through the whole ReadHarder 2019 challenge list with some ideas and recommendations, and today is the second challenge, which is an alternative history novel. So this would be a novel that takes something that is basically historically accurate and then switches kind of how it ends up. So changes the path of history, which I wouldn't think I really would like these that much, but they are kind of fun. So one that I have read, well, two actually, that I'm going to give you as recommendations that are a lot of fun. The first one is Wolf by Wolf. This is by Ryan Groudon, and this is a retelling of the end of World War II. Instead of the Allies winning, the Axis powers have won, and Hitler is kind of like the global leader at this point. And we are following a girl who survived the concentration camps who wants revenge on Hitler. And it is action-packed and suspenseful. There's a little bit of magic happening. It kind of serves to drive one plot through. Everything else seems very natural for the setting, and it really gets you thinking about what would have happened. So that was Wolf by Wolf. The other one that I read recently was Dredd Nation, Justina, Ireland, and this is the retelling of a Civil War situation, but the people who die in the battle of the Civil War come back as zombies. So yeah, it's very interesting. I really was not expecting to like this one as much as I did, but I definitely did. I highly recommend you check this one out. So as for what I'm planning to read for this one, I do own a book called Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick, and this is an alternate history around World War II. And again, similar to Wolf by Wolf, this is when Hitler wins World War II. Hitler is now in charge, at least the Nazis, and I think maybe even Japan have kind of combined together to rule the world. And that is our alternate history, to see how things changed if the Allies did not win the war. So I do own this one, so that's definitely up there. Another one that I own that I believe would fit into this category is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Now, this is a humongous book, but I do believe it involves some sort of alternate history, because we do visit historical England, and obviously some magical things happen in this story. So I think this one would work for this. I don't know much about it, but I have seen other people read it, and for some reason I'm just drawn to this book. I believe it's going to be historical alteration. So if you've read this one before and I am correct, definitely let me know down below. But yeah, I think this one should work. Next up is one that I own that I've seen mentioned a few times as a possible alternative history novel, and that is 1Q84. This is by Haruki Murakami. This is another huge book that I just feel like I've been drawn to. This is supposed to be kind of an illusion or maybe a retelling of 1984. So just the fact that this is supposed to take place in 1984, I feel like makes it alternative history, because we've already had 1984 and this clearly didn't happen. So, I mean, I feel like just that alone is going to make it work. But this is a Japanese, I believe. I want to say that it's Japanese. Yes, a Japanese author. And this is a hugely popular book in Japanese. It says it's an instant bestseller. And yeah, I'm just really intrigued by this. So it's on the list. So next up is one that I do not own. I have seen mentioned on Reagan's channel as Peru's Project, and I thought this was a very interesting tie-in for this. It is His Majesty's Dragon, the first book in a series by Naomi Novak, and you may recognize her from Spinning Silver, I want to say, and what was the other one? Uprooted, I think, that are kind of like folklore tales, retellings. This is set in, I think, Napoleonic France, and it involves dragons. So that is definitely an alternative history. I would be interested maybe in this. I'm not super fantastical like this book leads me to believe it will be, with the dragons and all, but it could be interesting. I mean, think about just France historic France with dragons. I mean, that does sound kind of interesting. Next up is one that I don't own but very much interests me, and that is The Years of Rice and Salt by Kim Stanley Robinson. This is an alternative history dealing with the Black Plague. And yes, I am here for it. I don't know why I'm so drawn to like horrible diseases, but I love reading about tuberculosis and the Black Death and the flu. I am very much interested in this one, so I don't own it, but I did stumble across it when I was researching for this task, and it is definitely on there now. I would love to see what happens with the plague that is not like what we've seen. And last but certainly not least, one on my radar is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. I don't know how I still haven't managed to read this. This was an Oprah pick. This is just one of the huge releases from 2016, 2017. This is just a reimagining of the Underground Railroad in the era before the Civil War, and I believe this involves some magical realism. It takes what was just a kind of a name of Underground Railroad, and I think there is, like, in this book, a literal Underground Railroad. Like, there's an actual train underground that is taking Black families from the South up to the North towards freedom. So I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I don't own this one, but I believe I have it at the high school library. So this is definitely one that is in my realm of possibility. So once again, there you have my options. By no means is this all of the alternative history fiction out there. These are just a few that caught my eye as I was researching. So if you have any that you know and recommend or might be interested in reading, definitely let us know down below. Would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching all about Task 2 for our Read Harder challenge, and I will be back tomorrow with Task 3.